Hey everybody, welcome to Drawing Hive. If you see the big sign that says Visual Arts Passage, we're the ones that bring it to you. What Visual Arts Passage is, we're an online educational program that helps people develop careers as illustrators and painters. We do it with a really great group of working artists that we take on mentorships with people that are trying to develop. So you're probably going to hear more about it later on, but that's what we do. Check us out. The other thing we do is we draw a lot. So tonight, Murderbot, and should be fun. I've only seen one episode of it, and I thought it was pretty cool. My wife didn't enjoy it very much, so I haven't seen another episode of
Right.
it. She is the boss of me and of what I watch. So we got some great reference tonight. The lighting. This is a really interesting lit head. Well explained. It's controlled. The reflected light's controlled enough that it's fun to deal with. Reads well. Uh, there's the bot himself. That's a great shot, isn't it? It's an
Hmm.
interesting design. Frey comes in tonight. He'll draw that. I bet he paints that. That's a little uh, graphic, but it's
Tab.
okay. If it doesn't bother you, that's okay.
Would be a popular one.
Yeah. And then I love this
Oh,
photograph.
it's lovely.
No, but that's just a
Yep.
beautiful shot. Beautifully lit head, beautiful person. So we're going to do three poses tonight. We have four pieces of reference. You can choose, our first two poses are 20 minutes and the last pose is 40 minutes. You can do, all four. You can do one. Focus on what you want to focus on. And in the room with us so far is Cassandra Kim. And if you want to see a really great drawer, watch Cassandra draw.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody. Thank you for drawing with us tonight. If this is your first time joining us, please share your work throughout the evening. Tonight's hashtag. So if you share your work on Instagram, we're going to check it out at the end of the show. It's my favorite part. Tonight's hashtags are hashtag drawing hive 254. That's episode 254. Hashtag drawing hive and visual arts passage. Please post it throughout the night. I'll remind you. We will scroll through it all, and there's already some fun stuff out there. Um, yeah, it should be a good one. All right. Cassandra, what are your materials tonight? Looks you're doing something new.
Yeah, I decided to play with watercolor. So, and some
Fun.
ink. So we'll see how that goes.
What inspired watercolor? Because it sounds like you were like kind of chasing your tail today. Does that
Yeah,
have anything to do with it or no?
no, probably. Like I'm on summer schedule, so I haven't really gotten to paint much the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, when I'm with my kids, I'm playing. So I was trying
Mhm.
some watercolor and some ink
Oh,
again
cool.
to see how it goes. Um, so I feel rusty, so I thought that might be good for me to do more than if I feel rusty. What I wanted to do is I wanted to brew some coffee and try to paint with coffee because Rainier did beautiful ones with it, but I didn't get to that. So we're gonna go with this
Nice.
because I love.
John, are you gonna share your work?
Sure.
All right.
I will
And
in a second
everybody,
here.
I
I have a
just
dog problem. Um, he's like right on my lap here. Hold on. Not literally, but uh,
everybody, I just shared the reference in the chat. If you're um I see the same person asks every week. It's in the email I send you. um, reading, it's fun. Don't underestimate it. Can make life way easier. All right, John, nice, cool. Are you gonna just work on one image tonight, or are you gonna try to do more than one?
I'll be lucky if I get one done. I've had a man, my eyes are dancing.
pretty burned out.
Yeah, we've been doing portfolio reviews for people, and that tends to wear me out.
Yep.
How many
Especially,
portfolios reviews did you do?
we had 5 scheduled. We did 3. And really, I saw a student from not last semester, the semester before, that I think is going to jump back into our portfolio class, and just unbelievable what they're doing. Just
Oh, that's exciting.
they're out. They're not from the United States, but they're here in the States visiting art directors and doing all kinds of great stuff. I was blown away.
That's so cool.
Yep. Always fun to see people chasing and having success.
Hmm.
All right. Yeah. You've been doing a lot of portfolio reviews.
Yeah.
About 5 a day, a little more maybe on occasion.
Right about 5 a day.
Right on. Talking to 5 people is a lot for some artists, like including just like coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to one person is a lot for some artists.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm one of them. No, I enjoy it, and the goal is to help people kind of identify a path, help them figure out what's out there, what they're doing right, what they
Yeah.
might help them potentially, um, what they need to think about, what skill sets they do well, what they need to strengthen, all that fun stuff.
Which if you are interested, we do have spots available in July for those reviews. Um, one thing I will say, so I'll share that link. If you want to book something in July, do it. But if you book it and you don't show up, I put your name on a list. Here's a list. I won't tell you what we do with the list. We haven't decided yet, but it's not nice. I don't like it.
Well, the only downside about it, I get it. People's schedules change and stuff, and they usually book in it pretty far in advance. But you're eliminating, because we book them. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is fully
we
booked.
fill
So
it
if you
up.
just
We book the schedule. I mean, you couldn't book one now for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, and so when people don't show up, it's infuriating because it's like,
It
oh,
takes
you took
somebody
up
out.
they kick someone out, and there's oh man, it's it's wild to me. And I think it's an extension of the internet where people are just like, it's the internet. No one's real. Nothing's real. It's the internet. I can cancel. You would never like schedule lunch with somebody and then just like not show up. Or I guess some people would, but that's pretty wild behavior.
Well, I think it's more, John, you're a working artist and you could be working on a painting, but you're, taking the time to look at somebody's art and talk to them.
That's
Yeah.
how I see it, Cassandra.
Yeah, like that.
I think some
Right.
painting happens
I
when people don't
appreciated
show
the
up.
portfolio you gave me years ago. It was
The other
wonderful.
thing is, I could have been like sleeping or napping or doing something productive.
Yeah. Napping. Napping's important.
Oh, I love a good
You
nap.
guys do a nap?
I don't do a nap.
I'm not good at it, but I just saw that somebody that consistent nappers can extend their lifespan by like 5 to 7 years. And I was like,
Hmm.
I don't believe that,
Yeah, I
but
don't believe in it either.
there's
It's
a lot,
such a
there's a lot of
funny.
things I see that I don't
That's
believe.
that's one was that an Instagram post?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like an impossible study to conduct.
You know what? I'm
Sounds
just
like a
gonna
good
go with it.
justification.
Hey, 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 Timmy, don't ruin it for me. Let's
Yeah,
just say it's fact so that when I do get a nap, I can just say,
I
well,
was gonna
actually,
say,
I'm actively trying to extend my life.
Yeah, it's a justification.
Yeah.
yeah,
This is important.
Hmm.
yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of grid like data accounts on Instagram that
Don't ruin
they're like,
naps. Don't ruin
just
naps.
take a nap.
Where did you get your medical device? Drawing.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
else?
The most elite athletes nap 7 hours a day. Everybody, I opened the chat up to the whole group. So toggle it to everyone instead of hosts and panelists. And please, please tell us where you're tuning in from and what materials you're using. All right.
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to roughly figure them out because
Yeah.
watercolors are not as forgiving as acrylic or acrylic markers.
Hmm.
I just
Is
want,
there a reason? I think you mentioned it. Is it just kind of just a nice unwind medium for you, or is it are you nervous?
no, I think my summer months, my schedule, like I just because my kids are young and they're on,
Yeah.
summer break. It's a time that I try to like so that they're involved too. I experiment more with supplies and um like watercolor to me is always a real challenge, and so I like to put myself up against it and see because watercolor you work in reverse from acrylic and oil. Like acrylic and oil, I throw down a mid-tone and some darks, and then I bring in my lights. With watercolor, you have to hold on to your lights and slowly
Yeah.
maintain those as you go darker. And you like, so for me, I think it's fun for my brain to work around that. Whether or not I do a good job of it, well, that just depends on the day. But
Hmm.
I like the challenge. Like John said, it's healthy to be uncomfortable with creating art because I think it helps your brain work better at creating. So I thought I'd make myself a little uncomfortable.
There's a time and place to be uncomfortable as an artist. Doing a client job, not the best place to be uncomfortable.
Right.
Got the biggest opportunity in my life. I think I'll try something new.
Right.
That
Drawing Hive is a great place to try random art supplies and play. So that's what I decided to do today and not let it be precious. And if I bomb, it won't be the first time nor the last. So you guys can just watch me do it.
Nice. On the topic of bombing, I thought this was funny. I was talking with Dale Stephanos the other
Hmm.
week. Um, for those of you who don't know, Dale is a teacher with Visual Arts Passage, incredible editorial illustrator,
So good.
artist. He's the best, and he's also just fun. And you may have seen his work because he did the Betty White USPS postage stamp. He's also done a lot of other stamps, but he's been kind of doing like a press tour, right?
Yeah, so good.
Um, like local news, and he's giving these talks. And I was talking with him about, I was like, so are you digging the talks? Because he was asking me about comedy, the comedians that I work with. And he was like, I've actually been doing like enough talks that I'm like honing the lecture, right? I'm changing things
Mhm.
based on responses. And I was like, have you bombed yet? And he was like, oh yeah, I've bombed. and, and and I was like, do you like it? And he's like, I swim in it. I absolutely swim in it. And we were talking about like what, can derail what can completely derail your thing. And it's almost always right out at the start. Which is kind of funny because I bet it's kind of similar to a painting, right?
Yeah, like you
yeah,
just feel it going wrong, but you just keep moving towards it.
But like the groundwork, the further you get into it, the harder it is to fix, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I would say that's probably the same thing for like public speaking. Like it'd be pretty acrobatic to like bomb for like 30 minutes and then win them back in like the last five.
It's got to feel great though if you can win him back.
Yep. Yeah. I've met
Just like if
comedians that like that pride themselves in like moments like that.
oh, I believe it.
Yeah. Um, and then the comedians that I've met that like fun in that they open for a lot of big names. And so one of them I was talking with the other week, he was talking about like how, and it is actually, it's really interesting. You were talking about like taking risks. Like if you're opening for like a famous comedian, like you kind of want to show that you're skilled. So you don't want to bomb. But then like let's say you're doing like 3 shows with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to kill on every show. Like well, you do, but like
I say you don't?
well, this is the thing. Like you want to prove that you're like pushing the envelope a little bit. Like you're trying. And if you just do your perfect act and you do your like you do your 10 minutes, and you do all the jokes that you know that work, and then they see you repeat any of those, they're gonna be like, he's too afraid of bombing, too afraid of like trying something new or taking a risk.
But wait,
Um,
aren't you supposed to repeat because you're trying to like test jokes out, right?
yeah, but you typically like repeat the entire same thing like 3 nights in a row. Usually you have like kind of a variation of it. You're trying new things. Because if you're doing the exact same act every night,
Uh-huh.
then you're not you're not moving
Not
forward.
pushing.
Yeah, you're not moving forward.
Okay.
I've seen shows at the Cellar though, um, where I saw a show by the same comic like completely a year apart. They did the exact act back to back, like no changes. And there's like, that was just sad. That was just like, I can't even believe they're letting you go up here still. Because it's just like you're not growing.
Mm.
It'd be like if you just drew the exact same painting
No, 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 it makes
every
sense.
day,
I
you know?
think like I just didn't know how much you repeat and how much you
They
do.
do repeat a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And then when you get to a spot, you kind of, I think they kind of like lock it in, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, it's so funny though because like if you were to bomb and just like completely suck the air out of the room, like that's not good either. Because like you want people to be happy, you want the energy to be high, you know. Like I mean, that's why you have a host go out every, like this like palate cleansing host between every person, is that it's supposed to kind of fix whatever happened could have
Help
happened
like
between that.
boost things back
Yeah.
up.
And you can tell, like you'll see a host stay out there longer. If somebody really does bad, they'll stay out there for like a minute to
Ah.
like kind of be like, we really need to fix the taste in the room. But hey, we got look, Ray,
Yay. Hey, Ray.
Hey,
let's
Gab.
guess what Ray's
Timmy,
making tonight.
you said you said I didn't do too bad the second time.
What was that?
You said I didn't do too bad at the second time.
Oh, you did all right. You did great. You're the best. You're the best. Yeah. Whoa, Ray. What is going on here?
You're
Oh, I'm just
like
doing.
I
epic.
got a feeling. I got a feeling you're going with the robot as John guessed.
Is he? Did he guess that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Saw it a mile away.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, if Ray shows up, he's drawing that robot. That's perfect for him.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Am I
in your
that
head,
predictable?
Ray,
Why?
I'm in your head, man. I'm in your head.
Yeah.
Well, I did do my comedy act 2 times in a row.
The nerve.
Yeah, I did. I was like, oh, that's perfect for me. That's literally what I thought too.
I'm
It's
doing my
embarrassing.
comic right now. It's a drawing.
Yeah.
Jeez.
All right. How does this grid work? I'm very it feels like it feels like it's sculpting in a way that I haven't seen you sculpt before, Ray.
This grid here.
The grid on the the head painting or the head shape.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah,
Oh, these are just polygons. That's
nice.
it. So what? it's pretty low resolution, and so
Yeah.
I'm just basically sketching out a pretty rough form, and then
Yeah.
uh, I'll increase the resolution, and then you won't see them anymore. They're basically
Yeah, I
just
was
like
waiting for you to
pixels.
like zoom out and it just be like his knuckle.
Yeah. And I'm
Like,
done.
ah, damn.
And I'll take
we
questions from the
gotta we gotta
audience.
stop putting the reference up so early. Yeah.
How's everyone else doing?
Doing good.
Pretty good. Yeah. All
I
right.
just decided to switch to 3D to change it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been using a lot of it in the job I'm working on now, so
Really, I'm assuming you can't talk about that job at all.
I can't, but I could talk about the fact that I'm using a lot
Uh-huh.
of 3D.
Yeah.
But yeah. So but I haven't done it's yeah. So I want to get better at doing more figurative stuff, which is a lot more fun.
What
Well, it's all fun. But
when you're working in 3D, where do you think most of that work is likely to go continue to exist? Like what type of space?
um
Is it to
hmm.
eventually, is the finished project eventually going to be shown in a, or is it just,
For developing
is it really
reference.
just, yeah, for just like Viz Dev?
No, I mean it's definitely part of a final product.
Nice.
That's
That's
Yeah.
cool.
exciting.
Yeah. Um and it's just like it's not like the end product of it. It's more of
Yeah.
a visualization tool for me. Like it's how I build my scenes basically.
Uh-huh.
Um um does that make sense? I don't know if that does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
okay.
mean, Cassandra worded it much better than me. But I basically was like, can you like describe what it's gonna be without saying what it's gonna be?
Yeah, Cassandra, you've earned yourself another question. Timmy, we'll
Actually, Ray, I have to give you credit because I was, normally I'm pretty like low tech on setting up my reference, but I have a piece that I had to think about like a little bit more complicated. And I was using all the things that you were teaching about with working in Photoshop. And I was like, oh, like all the ray skills are coming into use. And I was like masking images and building things up. And I was like, oh, I know these things now.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. It's great.
I'm sorry. You know it's
You
bad.
wonder, Ray. You wonder.
I know.
Well, I
That's
can't
the
use it on
last
my animals, but I needed it for like the landscape scene I was trying to figure out. So I'm very appreciative that you were teaching that.
well, I'm you I'm honored that you would find any value in any of that
Oh my gosh, don't
nonsense.
even.
However, I will pour one out for your art career because it is now
When you
torpedoed by me.
when you see the piece that I'm working on for it, you're gonna laugh so hard too because it's like it's such a ridiculous piece, and you're gonna be like, so that's where you use the skills that I was teaching. Okay.
I know
You know,
Adam's in the room because I heard the laugh.
Right.
Hey, Adam.
Hey,
yeah. Hey, what's
everyone.
up, Adam?
I snuck in with my ninja skills.
All right.
Or maybe it was because I forgot to unmute my mic, which is the
You
same
were-
as my ninja skills.
That works too.
Yeah. You working with graphite tonight?
Yeah, this is that my beloved Krita Killer soft
Nice.
lead. But I also bought a pack of these pencils that I think I'm going to use for detail, which are the Faber-Castell Pitt Graphite Matte 14B.
Whoa.
It's a
Nice.
really, really dark pencil, but it
Wow.
doesn't get shiny.
Okay.
And so I had like a 6B of that, and now I'm very curious about what the darker ones do. My theory is that if I can draw a circle, fill it in, and I can drop my keys into it and never find them. That's my expectation.
Yeah, I love that.
Sensibility.
Are you a big like rich darkness like
Um,
drawing medium person or
not necessarily. I think the main thing though is I like to not have to press. So
yeah,
as I've gotten older and more worried about my hands, I've just been getting darker and darker pencils so that I don't press to get a dark.
right.
Yeah, so it's all like kind of more fine motor control. Like so, I'll never touch an H ever. I'm just normally like a nothing lighter than a 6B. Just so that I can just kind of whisper my way through the picture.
Right.
Adam.
Yeah,
Oh, go
go.
ahead, Ray. Sorry.
No, I've gone like kind of back and forth where I was like way too heavy-handed, and then I was told to draw lighter, and then I just went way too light, and people were like, one of my teachers, I think it was Bill Mon probably, because it sounds like him. He would say, "You got to wear a heavier watch," and I'm like, "What?" So you got to wear a heavier watch, Ray. And I'm like, "What? Who are you talking about?" He's like, "You're drawing too light." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "I don't even own a watch."
Adam, I haven't spoken to you, but if you get a chance, go back and listen to last week's.
Oh, yeah.
I showed a couple of pieces of your work and talked about you for a while.
Oh my, wait, really?
Are
Yeah.
your ears burning? It was an amazing piece, and I like just hearing it from John. I'm super impressed of your rabbit.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and oh wow. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for doing great work.
It was the end of the roast of Adam. So we did a roast of Adam, and then we had to say something nice at the end
Right,
of it.
right. Good. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes
was that after I left because I was disgusted by the discourse surrounding
What is this kindness?
Yeah, yeah. Nice. Just a nice little Zoom roast.
Right. Perfect. Much deserved. Much deserved.
Yeah.
Now you're speaking my language.
I would rather it than that than one where people praise me.
Yeah.
It'd be easier.
Well, I was talking about your killer class I've been listening in on.
Children's book illustration. It's fun. Fun
Yeah.
stuff. Those kids are pretty happy too.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun to work with.
That's great. Wow. Some great stuff tonight. John,
Yeah.
I know we didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming this week is like every other week. I'm assuming you have a plan.
I always have a plan.
All right. I don't know when do you want to execute the plan?
Whenever you need me to.
All right. Well, this is actually a pretty good time
Okay. Well, this
to
is
move
a
on to
good
the
point for me. I kind of got my drawing
yeah.
blocked in and I can.
Nice. So everybody, before we jump into that, please post your work to Instagram, and in the caption, please use hashtag DrawingHive254. That's episode 254. Hashtag DrawingHive and Add Visual Arts Passage. Post it now. We've got a fun segment that John will be presenting. Here we go.
I'm a little slow. I apologize. Okay. So I think I did a short segment on this individual before, but this is a little bit more thorough. I still don't know very much about them, but I know the basics. But I've looked at a ton of their work. And a lot of you might be kind of opposed to this, like, oh, I don't think that's, I'm not interested in that. And I'm going to prove you wrong. That's my goal. Because I was that way when I first looked at this. So the person I'm talking about is Anna Mary Robertson Moses.
Ooh,
Enormous.
yeah. Love her stuff.
I think this is a part one.
This does not get any better, my friends. Started painting at 78 years old,
She's so cool.
lived to be 101, born in,
Wow.
died in 1961, born in 1860 in Greenwich, New York. Spent a lot of her time close to Cassandra in Virginia. Has been farming. Was hired out at 12 years old to do maid services and work in a home. 12 years old.
Poor baby.
The people she was working for uh, encouraged her, discovered. I mean, she would draw, she would do all kinds of creative things, but she really didn't start painting seriously until she was 78 years old. Luckily, she lived to be 101. Lucky for us, she
I was
lived
gonna
to
say
be.
78. That means people were like, "You're like 40 years older than the oldest person I've ever met."
Okay, so she gained immense popularity during the 1950s. She befriended somebody that we all talk about and idolize, but she became very good friends with Norman Rockwell. She lived kind of directly across the state line. He lived in Vermont at the time, and excuse me, Massachusetts at the time, and she lived in upstate New York. But I love there was a line I was looking for it. I'm shuffling through papers here, but I'll just kind of generalize it. There was this beautiful thing that she never um, really understood perspective, but in the way it was written, it was really nice. They said she never understood it or refused to understand it, and I think that's the truth. She realized she was doing something interesting and avoided like developing technical skills would have taken her down a completely different path. This is American primitive, is what I would categorize it as, and just absolutely extraordinary. American folk art. There's been a lot of people that have picked up on this. She was selling paintings when she first started for $3 to $10.
Oh my gosh.
And then I think
Wow.
it was pretty early on, like in the 1950s. Um, somebody, okay, so here it is. In the 1950s, something sold for like it was over $50,000. By the time 2006 rolled by, one of her paintings sold for 1.36 million. No, in 1940s, she was selling pieces for under $10. Eventually, within that decade, paintings were appraised at $60,000 and above.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
unreal. I love these things. I love uh she's, and again, really how I got turned on to her was my father. Um he had I walked into the studio one day, and this was pretty common for him. He would open books and open them and lay them all over his floor in his studio. And then he's walking around on top of the books, stumbling through them. And he's like this kind of mad scientist in the studio. And I walked in, and he's like, I want you to look at this. I want you to see this the way that I do it. She says, I think she's one of the greatest painters that ever lived. Um, a natural designer,
Hmm.
said that she understood shape design. She learned to avoid what didn't work. She didn't bother herself with facility or trying to be photographic. It's a pure interpretation of what she saw and what she remembered.
Well, and she always had these fascinating shapes and patterns that come
Oh,
about that are just stunning.
oh, I can see some of the textures. I mean, I relate. There's a few pieces at the end. I very much relate my father's work to some of this stuff.
Hmm.
And some of the pieces I'm going to show at the end. Again, some of it I find much more interesting than others. Some of it gets really kind of saccharine sweet almost, but it has an edge that keeps it from going over the top that way. Like, look at how that wood or whatever is stacked on that sleigh. I mean, that's just beautiful. The relationships of shapes, no understanding of, perspective and scale. Look at these little kids over here and how big this guy is. I mean,
Or even the horizon line, how interesting she makes it.
yeah, I love these like quilted landscapes.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful. The lack of understanding. Look how she flattened the perspective on that barn right there.
Hmm.
Really interesting. Gorgeous stuff. I just thought it was so interesting that she befriended Norman Rockwell. They became very good friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Um, so when it comes up, I'll show it. I think it's toward the end. The checkered house was bought at an antique roadshow for $40 or for $10 in 1940, and then was appraised a decade later for $60,000.
Wow.
Wow.
$60,000 in 1950.
But did it stay with the same family?
Yeah, evidently.
I love that. It means they loved it. It wasn't, it was bought because it was interesting to them.
There might be a couple of these that I've repeated. I'm not sure. Love this one.
Hmm.
The great mood, darkening that sky darker than the things in the foreground. That's interesting.
So many of the animals look like cave paintings.
Hmm.
Yeah, really primitive. You're right, Timmy. Look at the horses right there.
Now, this is where I get confused because like growing up, I always heard her described as a folk artist. So, like, how is it more accurate to say primitive or
Well,
like
American primitive, American folk, I think it's for almost interchangeable.
okay.
It's pretty interesting though. It's like she knew it. Like, look at the explanation of this barn and this building, that shadow that's cast there.
Mhm.
She had the info. She knew it, but she knew to not do it. She knew to control it. Like this
Hmm.
one, the cruder they get, the better they get, I think.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The more interesting they are.
Yeah, that's the word I would use too. But she's got a great sense of composition too.
Oh, absolutely.
Again,
Mhm.
here's that beautiful patterning.
I mean, look at that landscape in the back of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty well explained. It's so great.
I can see how she influenced your dad. I can see that some of the
Right.
things he did.
Right.
Well, shape and value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Describing everything with shape and value. Not a whole lot of rendering in her work. This is one of my favorites. I love this painting.
Hmm. Somebody was asking, was one of those an embroidery at all, or is it all
I,
paint?
she did embroidery early in life. I don't know if one of these was or not. I wasn't paying attention as it was going by, but she definitely had great sewing skills.
Oh, I love that last one.
Yeah, that's like, and you get down in here and it's almost looking at like a V yard.
Right. That's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So especially through here, look at that. You could see like Lautrec, V yard, Bonnard.
Mhm.
That looks like. Did you see the guy with the axe? That's crazy.
Oh
Or
yeah.
this guy. This
Yeah,
guy.
everything
Well, this
down
guy
there.
over here is, they're chasing the.
Was that like a
Yeah,
giant rooster? Is he running from it, or is he going after what is like?
I don't know. It's very funny. It
It's
reminds
a
me,
fun story.
there's a guy that buys like landscape paintings at thrift stores, and he paints like Freddy
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
in
like
them.
everyone's art or something.
Yeah, he just like puts murderers like
Oh,
walking through the
that
forest in
Freddy.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at these.
You know
Wow.
what these remind me of? You know, like Jan Steen's work. You know, how it's very much like everyday things
Yep.
happening. There's always like a mother nursing and like a dog taking food off the table, and just
Right, right.
like the
No.
chaos of everyday life.
I do love the idea though that she was like in her late 78, you said, when she started.
Yeah, when she started seriously.
You know, you're new to this. You're like, how you would ask somebody like, how long will it take for me to get good at drawing a face? And they're like 10 years, and you're like, yeah,
Oops,
I don't need to learn how to do that.
Right.
I repeated that one. Yeah.
I don't that's not gonna work.
Like skip.
This is the checkered house.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
The
Look at
ten
those
dollar
horses.
painting.
That is completely cave painting-esque,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is
Let's
interesting
go right there.
because late
Look at these two
1800s,
legs. Yeah.
what's funny is late 1800s, I bet most people had never seen a
Yeah.
cave. Like,
It's not till like photography, like somebody,
yeah,
like Moybridge, pointing out, the way that how horses picked up and put their feet
yeah.
down.
This is a parallel thinking. Yeah.
These are so charming.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think her winter scenes are my favorites.
Yeah, this one especially. I love this one. The last few here are my favorite. I love this one.
Oh, wow.
I love that
Yeah.
figure. It's so good. And I put this one in again because I really liked it. Didn't
And
mean
it's
to.
an awesome turkey. I mean, come
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
about the size of a bear.
on.
Road.
All right, there she is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at that smile.
Yep,
Pretty cool.
seems happy.
Hmm.
Surprised there's so many photographs of her like this.
Yeah.
But
I'm
again,
impressed she's wearing a lovely lace collar,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
and painting. I would have destroyed it in minutes wearing it. Oh, look at that face. We
Okay.
need to draw her one night.
That's
And we
some
need to do
great.
we need to do an artist, like pick a
Yeah,
group
we'll
of
do it.
artists to draw night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's
That
my
was a good one.
that's my bit. And
Great pick,
Oh, that was
John.
great.
I liked that
Great
one a lot.
pick. Yeah.
Love hearing about a late bloomer too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, often I hear from like I talk with students and they're like in their it's absurd. They're in their late 30s and they're like, "Do you think it's too late?" And you're just like, "I hope not."
it
Because
is. I'm in a lot of trouble.
I don't even
Right,
know what I
right.
want to do. Yeah. No, it's also funny to did you mention did she have kids or family? I'm assuming she did
Yeah. Well,
in
first of
the
all, she
era.
was one of 10 kids.
Yeah.
And she and her husband had 10 kids,
Holy
Oh,
snow.
but only
Wow.
5 that survived.
Right. It was
Aw.
And that's common.
Cassandra, that was like they were like, "Oh, can you believe it? 5?" For that time, they were like, "Oh my God.
Whew.
Put numbers up on the
No wonder
board."
she's not painting till 78. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's when she got the last kid out of the house.
That's right.
Oh, I bet that they've been out of the house for like, like yeah,
Yeah.
like an alarming
I mean,
number of a red
I-
flag number of years.
Yeah, I mean, she was, as I
Yeah.
said, she was hired out
Yeah.
to
At
work in a
12. Ugh.
work in a house as a
Yeah.
housemaid when she was 12.
Wow. It is interesting. I'd be curious as to what the idea of like the idea of making art now to like in retirement I think is it's like a common thing that's been around for quite a while. But I find it retirement wasn't as much a thing back then.
No, I mean you kind of had
Right.
to
You kind of
think
worked
that
until
far.
you couldn't work anymore.
Right.
Right.
And I'm not saying that she did it in retirement. It's just I don't know. It's you start to think about the culture around it and the idea of somebody in their late 70s picking it up. It's fascinating.
You know, so
Yeah.
one thing I find that I wind up talking about a fair amount when I'm teaching college classes is I inadvertently wind up having to bring up child mortality, like that
Yeah.
whole 10 kids and 5 survived.
Yeah.
Because you read like the Grimm brothers, right?
Yeah.
And Ace, like any old stories are really like they could be like brutal and they've got this body count to them. And then
Yeah.
you even consider like like I'll have contemporary students who can't believe what we even considered like a good children's book or movie in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
They're like, how did you show that to children?
Yeah.
And what I've come to kind of describe to them is to say, like, you go back not that far in history, and it was hard to live past childhood,
Yeah.
and so if you want to scare, if you're going to tell a scary story to one of five, to 5 surviving children out of 10.
You gotta really ramp it
Like, I
up.
mean, what? Oh, someone gets hurt in it? Oh, come on, you know?
Well,
And,
also,
and,
like,
and it's like,
That's
oh,
a
they
very
died.
funny
Oh
take.
yeah, everyone dies. No, no, no. He got eaten by his uncle.
Yeah.
An old lady in the woods ate him. And you go like,
Yeah.
oh, that's terrifying now, right? But that's what it took.
but also
Yeah.
kids don't like subtlety, that
No,
that can
right.
kind of go over their head.
Yeah,
So they enjoy having things laid out kind of in extreme. I think that's why Roald Dahl is so successful, like
right,
as a story, because there's no confusion about what's going on.
right, right,
Yeah. Probably the types of things that scared people changed too,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
right. But that's
Like,
that's what I mean. It's like when mortality rates are as high as they were, how do you scare people?
yeah, that's a great question. There's a fun theory that's interesting because you'll never know the answer. It's impossible to know the answer, but the idea, and you're kind of touching on it, is I read I can't remember what the book was called, but it was the idea. It was on this topic of like psychology and mental health over the past like 200 or 300 years, and there's this kind of this thing that we believe they became desensitized to it. And there's a lot of like journal reading that really implies to researchers that like it was not easier. Like there was no desensitization to it. It was just really tough,
Yeah,
you know? Um, and it's interesting and kind of the only way they can like kind of assess that is like through journals, you know,
That
of
makes
just
sense.
being just being like, no, it was actually pretty rough. Turns out not exaggerating.
right.
Yeah. But that's interesting. I have a friend who has 10 siblings. That's pretty tough.
I have, I
Youngest
have,
of 10.
I have two that have 11.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It was,
I thought you were finished with just saying I have two. And then I was like, oh, okay. But then yeah, I didn't see 11 coming.
When I go to Gianna, my wife's like family Italian get-togethers, and they're way more like I'm gonna say it, kind of gaudy Italian. It's incredible. You're just like, whoa, this was an operation you guys had going. It's so funny. How many people are there? It's wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
big Catholic families.
Yep. It was actually this is on the related of like late starts. I was talking with their grandfather who's in his like late 80s, And I'm just trying to get him to just like troll the entire Procopio family. Secretly, we were at the
That
Christmas
sounds like
party,
you.
and I was trying to convince him the funniest thing he could do in his 80s is get braces. You know, because he was jokingly being like, you know, they just all want me for my money or whatever. And I was like, oh, if you think that's true, get braces. That'll be hilarious. Spend all your money on improving your teeth right now.
Hair transplant.
Yeah, get a hair, go get a hair transplant and get your teeth done. Get yeah, get your teeth really done up. But braces, don't have them. No dentures.
Right.
Yeah. Um, and then tell everybody that I encouraged you to do it at the end.
His last words were, Timmy made me do it.
Timmy told me to get the hair transplant. He actually has amazing hair. Full head
Which is
hair.
what make the transplant even more hilarious.
Totally. Totally. They're actually gonna the the doctors in Turkey are actually transplanting it just for research. They're gonna pay him. Yeah. Adam, what have you been working on lately other than teaching that amazing children's book
Um,
class?
I think I've actually been like just recovering from my my college semester and sort of trying to organize what my summer of work is going to look like.
Mm.
I have
Yeah.
a book that's been sort of like on the back burner for like a year on the publisher's end that just seems to have come back to life.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
So
Have
I'm
you
excited.
finished it or where were you on it?
Oh, I was still waiting for the letter of introduction from the art director.
Oh.
And so I went ahead and I got started on it anyway. Thinking that, well, that email will come any day. And then it kind of took a year.
So how far along did you get? Or
I paginated and thumbnailed out the whole thing.
oh, nice.
And so now I can look back on it and see if I can remember what I was thinking and why these were my ideas a year ago. But so I'm excited to dig back into that one.
You ever
Um,
stop on a like get distracted on a piece of artwork, a painting? In my case, a painting, or well, everybody's case in here, I think. And then you come back to it and you're like, what was I even painting this for?
oh my God.
Yeah, totally.
What was I thinking?
Yeah, one of the things I was talking about in the children's book class this week was sort of to, when going into book illustration, you kind of have to really know your propensity for that kind of thing. Because it's, you're doing like say 20 to 30 pictures, but you're not doing them like in a row like that. You're doing 20 to 30 thumbnails and then 20 to 30 pencil drawings and then 20 to 30 paintings. And so you could get to the point where, like, in August, you are finally getting to the last stage of something you planned in January. And you kind of have to hope that you're the kind of person who looks at it and goes, oh yeah, I know what I was doing, which is not always the case. Then you just have to fake it and try your best
Adam,
to make it
a
look like that.
quick Adam, a quick question for somebody who doesn't know, like
Yeah.
the most brief, just what is a thumbnail? And then the actual question is, what do you think is the most common pitfall that like someone like you who's trying to create a narrative with thumbnails, what do you think is the most common pitfall artists do with their thumbnailing process?
All right, so the a thumbnail is it's the small drawing, the your first really rough sketch. You could do it big, but the nice way of doing it small is you can tell if you've got a terrible idea much faster in a small drawing. So it'd be like, all right, if this is the job, and it's so I go, okay, so I'm gonna have the character and she's over here and she's looking into the composition. And here's my
Mhm.
basic setup of what the composition is going to be.
Yeah.
So you know, it doesn't have to be anything more really than she's gonna have her head is gonna be big. It's gonna be a 3/4 view. There's dark up here, there's light over here. And now you're finding out what you're going to make a picture of before you get into the nitty-gritty of making the picture. Because you definitely don't want to do all of this and then say, oh man, I really wish she was here. You know, or it would have been better if she was looking from right to left. So
Yeah, so what do you think is like the most common just like misstep that people do when they start doing that?
I think not trying enough things is often the, like settling too soon
Okay.
on what is the picture in your head, rather than really going exploring while you've got these little, scribbly boxes to play with. The biggest pitfall that happens to people after that, though, I think is, sometimes people will get a thumbnail that they really like and it feels dynamic. And then when they get up to their tight drawing, it kind of like loses all its life. Things like it doesn't feel dynamic anymore. It doesn't feel, and a lot of times what I think that is they're not really paying attention to the change in scale of every element in the picture when they go from little to big and detailed. So it's like, so if you start your big drawing, you've drawn one thing too small, it means the thing next to it is going to be too big. The space between it and the other thing is going to be too much. And suddenly all the dynamic that you planned out isn't there anymore. So one of the pitfalls, I think, is to treat the thumbnails and the sketch and the final as if they're completely different pictures rather than piggybacking off of each other.
It's interesting. I'm going to add, Adam, from my perspective, biggest mistake people make with thumbnails is they repeat the same thing over and over again. They just redrawing the same thing.
Right.
Learning to explore that, because that's when your time is the least expensive. I mean, it's like you can do a thumbnail in a couple of minutes. And that's when you really put your foot on the gas of coming up with a good idea. And then remember, in Adam's case, and when you're working with a publisher, or you're working with an illustration client, you are working with the art director. So it's that process is the communication between you and the art director. And then, I think there's two kinds of thumbnails. There's the ideation thumbnail where you're not looking at any, you're trying to draw from memory and you're trying to develop an idea. And then once you land on the idea, you're just throwing stuff down. You then take the time to do a thumbnail that's about composition and a composed thumbnail. Does that make sense, Adam?
Yeah. And sometimes it depends too on, like, some clients want to see your thumbnails and some want to see your tight sketches. So sometimes you get that, the crazy scribbly phase, and it's, it's all just for you and what you think is going to work. But other times you need to come up with one that has to communicate, and it's you're working with the art director, but the art director is working with the editor, and the editor is answering to the marketing team and the sales, and so there's going to be a lot of non-art people who have to understand your shorthand.
Yeah, I think that another way to look at it too is like the thumbnail's beginning of like a process that we've all learned to kind of pipeline to work in. And you are sharing your stuff with editor and art director. But I think, if somebody came to me, and I've said this in here multiple times, and said, John, what's the one thing that you could teach me that would make me better the fastest? And I would say, learn process, learn the standard, illustrative process. And I haven't done an illustration since 2003. And I do thumbnails for every piece, multiple thumbnails for every piece that I do. And most of the painters I know have process like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the thumbnail phase, like it's a disaster.
Yeah.
Back.
It's the thing that makes you as a gallery painter, it's like you got to produce a lot and it makes you more consistent. It kind of links your work together. It just becomes that process just becomes so important to anybody that has to consistently produce a lot of work.
Hmm. Yeah, which actually, so that does remind me of I have a good pitfall that I run into, and it's sometimes people are doing their thumbnail stage and they almost kind of think like, well, I'll figure this out later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like and the truth is later is already going to be complicated enough.
What you'll figure out later is that it just got harder by waiting.
Right, right.
That was what you'll say to yourself was that was a thumbnail problem.
Yeah.
Yes, right, right.
I should have figured that out. Having the worst thing that, producing a finished, and it's different digitally, but doing a finished piece of physical art, a big, a larger painting is like realizing, oh, that should be over there. Moving
Mhm.
something is a tough problem. And, having a plan is a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so there will be times where you could be like, struggling with a picture later in the process and realize that like the reason you're struggling is because what you thought you could make a picture of is actually impossible. And you would have figured that out if
And
you'd
thumbnail.
really done the thumbnail.
That's right.
And if someone has already approved the thumbnail where you sort of breezed over the impossible thing, now you're kind of stuck because you already told someone you're going to make a picture of it.
How do you? That sounds kind of like an acrobatic problem to deal with.
Boy, Timmy, you asked a loaded question. Give me a quick example, and we all
No, I asked quick. I just wanted them to say what a thumbnail was for people
yeah.
who didn't know what a thumbnail was. As far as the answer of like the pitfalls, I knew that was gonna be pretty
Yeah.
in depth. And I think it's fun. It's like kind of like any creative process. It's like devil's in the details. Planning. Planning.
I have a plan.
Yeah. We don't have a
I
lot
think
of
it's a
students at our
relief.
school that are throwing buckets of paint at a wall.
Oh.
That's a different art school. Right.
But we
I
do
always send
have
those.
teachers actively building a robot in this moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ray,
Yeah.
that's insane. Look at that.
Oh, God,
Ray
it's a
Ray
mess.
teaches a class of bucket paint throwing. Is that what it is now?
A robot
In
builder.
3D.
No robot building.
Yeah.
Hey, Dale,
Hey,
were your ears burning?
on the topic
Oh
of
my.
robots, we've got Dale here.
Oh, Dale's here.
Hey, Dale.
Hey, on the topic of robots, Raymond Bonilla is here.
I I think I have to leave, right? I mean, that's good. That's what the contract says.
You guys aren't allowed to
Are
be in
you
the
two in the
room.
same state? Is that the thing?
Well,
Euphoria.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Dale, I don't know if you're far from your mic,
concessions
but
had to
Dale-
be made.
Dale, your mic might be a little soft. I don't know how far away you are from it, or if that's
Let
difficult.
me
It's hard to
see.
hear you.
How about now?
Sounds
Better.
better. Yeah.
Let's see here.
Dale. It's so good to have you back
Yeah.
from your tour. The
Yeah,
Dale,
your press tour. It's so
Right.
exciting.
it
Yeah.
is the sum
Fandom.
last year was Brat summer, and this year is Dale summer. It is.
It's
Yeah.
been so cool to see like the reaches of where the Betty White stamp has taken you. That's just
Yeah.
utterly amazing.
Yeah.
It has been pretty amazing. Yeah. It's
Dale- Yeah, I mean, it has to have been of experiences that have come from like one drawing. Is it one of the bigger ones?
one of the bigger ones, yeah.
Well, I mean, I
like
don't,
every
I don't know.
single-
You've had a long career, you know.
What one drawing has been on every single, I mean, like every news outlet.
Literally every news
Yeah.
outlet.
The initial print run was 35 million stamps, and they did like an emergency push run for more because they were selling out everywhere. I've done by now dozens and dozens of interviews, radio, TV. So yeah, one drawing has been pretty pretty impactful.
I mean,
Boy, did I get lucky with the subject matter, I gotta say.
yeah, Betty White. You can't beat Betty White.
Yeah, yeah. My next one coming out is William F. Buckley Jr. I don't think that's gonna have quite.
Maybe not as.
You never know.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, the difference would be that I'm actually going to be able to buy a stamp at a post office, though. You know, the chances are
I
higher.
know you'll be able to find it. That's funny.
Yeah, I still can't. I still can't
Yeah,
find the
I
stamp.
was trying to get the Betty White stamp too. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, did I tell you that the post office employee laughed at me when I asked if they had any in stock?
No way, really?
Yeah, and he was like, "I can't even get some, and I work here."
That's
And I was
amazing.
like, "Oh,
It's
okay."
amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. No, like I said, I just got super lucky with the subject matter, and like I was ready for when it came out. I was like, okay, half the people are gonna hate it and half will like it, so we'll just take that. But it's just been a universally positive experience. So,
You also did an amazing
Yeah.
job on it.
well, thank you. I didn't screw it up.
No, you definitely
You
did
know,
not.
that's always the advice is okay, don't F it up and you know.
Right.
We also pushed it pretty heavily on Drawing Hive. I mean,
Yeah,
let's just
that's all right. I
let's
like
You
that.
get-
it's not that.
You
Yeah.
honed your
Because of Drawing
skills
Hive.
here.
So you were definitely responsible for a good you know, maybe 3 or 4 dozen of those 35 million.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Hey,
Brick
At
every
least a
by-
vote
half a
counts.
dozen appearance bookings.
yeah,
Yeah,
brick by
yeah.
brick, Dale.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a charm campaign. You gotta,
Dale, I actually I referenced you earlier actually because I was talking about we were chatting about your I was talking with you last week about your talks you've been giving
yeah.
and how like, you know, public speaking has been like a big part of it. Has
Yeah,
Are you still doing the rounds?
I am. Yeah, I've got some pretty good ones coming up. I think we're nailing down the Boston Public Library, which is it's
Yeah.
actually in Boston,
Mhm.
it's a big deal because that's where like Doris Kearns Goodwin will speak there and, you know, like actual adults. So we've got that nailed down, I think.
Oh my gosh.
But it's funny, you know, like I told Timmy, I kind of workshop things at uh, for whatever reason, I'm a big draw at senior centers. So
Golden
try
Girls,
and-
baby.
I can
yeah,
guess.
so
I love
I'll
it. I love it.
and I did one yesterday morning at at 11 o'clock, and it was already too late in the day. Like
Yeah.
the first I'd say half the people in the first row nodded off by, you know, by the 5 minute mark, and I'm like, ah, damn it, you know, this isn't keeping them awake.
Have you had somebody fall asleep while you're talking to them?
Oh, senior centers are, you know,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
the average
What are you gonna
age,
do?
these places, you know, it's mid 80s. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's such a good way to um inoculate yourself against reacting to what's right in front of you. You know, just kind of keep going and it's a whole new skill, man. I'm not good at it. I'm just learning how to do it. That's all.
No.
11
I-
o'clock at a senior center. I mean, they're just coming back from lunch.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I've learned too, is you got to get them before lunch, but
That's
it's
at
another
10:30.
world. It's another world, put it that
Yeah,
way. It's-
I was gonna say this. If you're ever doing a live event that has entertainment for speaking or talking, you want the room to be as cold as ice
yeah,
and you want people to be hungry.
yeah.
Really, that's the combo.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
The worst comedy shows I've ever been to, it's always one of those two things that they've either just fed the audience or the room is hot. A hot room,
Well, hot
Hot-
room I get. The hungry I
cancel a show. No, but like room temp, like 70. Oof.
Yeah. Oh, it's
70.
awful.
If you're starting the show and it is 70 degrees, oh my,
It's
cancel
done. It's done.
it. Cancel it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would just think hungry would make people grumpy, not attentive.
No, it makes them
No,
awake.
No, you're alert.
People don't get tired when they're hungry. You go to bed hungry, you don't sleep well.
Yep.
You're awake.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of like those fitness people, yeah, you do like the whatever, like intermittent fasting. It's the whole premise of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a learning curve. So answer, that's a long answer to say, no, no single drawing, no body of work has ever or will ever have this kind of impact on me. I mean,
I don't know. You're a young man, Dale.
uh,
Yeah.
hey, I'm 60. I'm
You're no
60 and
grandma Moses.
I'm 60
Right.
and I'm an overnight sensation.
Yeah. It came out of nowhere. Has it been interesting? I think articulating kind of what you do to people who are not maybe artists.
Yeah, that's the thing is, if I'm talking to artists, I'm fine because I can just do the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they can relate to that and we speak the same language. Um, but with these other groups, you've got to really tailor your talk to who you're speaking to, and you just learn, okay, there are themes that I can lean on. Like with the senior center stuff, really, I just kind of made a joke about it, but I went back to school to get my undergrad when I was 57, 58.
Yeah.
Finishing up my MFA when I'm 61. This thing happened to me, when I was 60. So the theme there is, there's always the chance that there'll be a fresh page. And that kind of
Yeah.
resonates with that
Sure.
crowd. That doesn't resonate quite as much um, with college age kids or with younger crowds. So I've got like 3 talks that I do now.
Hmm. Well, you're so on theme for tonight because we were talking, John did a talk on Grandma Moses earlier and she
Oh,
didn't start
awesome.
till 78. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
perfect you
It was
coming in
like
and doing
a
And
this.
Grandpa
John was
Dale.
saying the closest artist he knows is Dale.
Dale,
That's
yeah,
that
yeah.
old.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody post your work to Instagram. It's hashtag drawing hive 254, hashtag drawing hive and visual arts passage. Post it now. Don't wait until the end.
Do you guys watch this show?
I haven't.
I've seen a few episodes, and because do you listen to that like pop culture happy hour on it's a podcast. It's how I stay in touch with anything that's relevant because I'm completely
Yeah.
irrelevant.
Oh, I might need that because I'm missing a decade right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I found out about um like Sinners. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, so they were raving about this, and so I checked it out, and I was like, oh, I don't know, man. It's pretty good, but it's kind of along the lines of that Fallout. Have you seen Fallout?
Yeah. I have Dale. I have the worst takes on these types of shows.
Well, how do you mean? What's your take on this one?
People, well, first of all, people love them,
Yeah.
adore them.
Your takes with the show.
So much so that one who might not like it would be afraid to say
Not your cup of tea.
how they feel about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll join you in dangerous hot takes. And
Yeah.
No,
I'm glad we're
don't
online
don't
here
do that.
'cause
You
I'm
just
gonna
got back, Dale. Don't do that. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Now let me explain my full platform, Dale.
Yeah, yeah. This is post 250, Timmy. It's very dangerous.
Yeah.
territory.
Everybody else on the panel is like, no, Dale, don't do it. He's been a tyrant. Yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah.
Timmy like in full repressing free speech mode? Is that what
Yeah.
we're
Two
No,
episode
no.
post 250.
No.
My name is Tim Jong-il, and
Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Are you gonna have like the equivalent of a military parade?
no.
No, it was more like we were celebrating 250 and I was pretty jovial and everything like that. And Timmy went on a 2.5 hour rant on
Yeah.
just about everything.
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Uh-oh.
You did a great job. I
For
mean,
anybody
almost.
just tuning in, this is their first episode. No, I did not. Ray, Ray.
No.
You haven't
Here we
even
go.
scratched the surface.
I
You
love
haven't
this
even
is the
scratched the
clone of
surface.
nuh-uh.
Yeah,
No, I
right.
didn't. I would never do that to
Yes.
my hive. This is
Haven't even
Hive.
begun. Haven't even
Yeah.
So,
begun to scratch the surface of my material.
so it's been a while for me. So what, give me some, what are some highlights here in the
Well,
past few
every
months?
week, Dale, during the lull, I would I would ask them like what materials they're using, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we really dug into Action News for a while. I've scraped the Action News barrel. Um,
Wow. Is it
yeah.
done?
No, it's not done. We
Oh,
haven't
okay.
had our final broadcast.
Are you
But
sunsetting it?
no, we're not sunsetting
We
it.
Oh,
more
okay.
just wait for good weeks of art news. Like sometimes
But
it's just a gem of a week, and sometimes
yeah,
it's just
Yeah.
not.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah, because people send me art news that they think is good for art news, and it's almost always like not good for art news because it's either like a really divisive art story
Yeah,
where
it's not
I'm just
every week that Dale does a Betty White stamp. So
yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah, but yeah, I'm trying to remember the one that everybody sent me one year where I was just it was just like we can't talk about that news story on Drawing Hive. When have you ever heard us talk about, murder? Yeah, yeah. No, there have been some fun ones though. It'll come back. The you know, this one's not, I think we can control ourselves, but the big art news story that would have been this week was Disney launching its lawsuit against
Oh,
Midjourney.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
what's your, so my take on, I don't know, do you have a position
I
on
I
it?
have I have no take. I have no take because it's impossible for me to really even understand like the corporate like incentives like
Well, I mean,
and
they
like
they don't.
what is grandstanding, what is not grandstanding, what is what I mean? Like it's so much bigger than my comprehension.
Yeah, I don't know. Today, whenever I see a corporation taking a stand against AI,
Yeah,
I've become so cynical on the subject that it's like, okay, you're doing that so that your IP isn't being scraped, so that
sure.
you can use your IP to create AI,
Sure.
Right, but it does help
nonsense.
if they go after it. Maybe it'll
Yeah.
protect some other people's rights. So I'll take
I would
that.
say luckily we live in a, where live in a society where well, for instance, like in Italy, because I'm having to deal with like courts in Italy, um, their laws don't set precedent, and we have the
Really?
benefit of that here. Yeah, it actually it's wild. Like
Oh, I didn't know that.
laws in Italy don't set precedent. So like one ruling has like no weight on the outcome of another ruling ever.
Oh wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you start to realize like you're like, wow, the world is big and things are different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and like you're that's such a culturally like such a subtle thing that like you could say to somebody, like if you'd said that to me like 5, 10 years ago, I would be like, okay,
yeah,
that's kind of interesting. But then you're just like, now it affects me in a major way that there isn't precedent. And so you're like, wow, these morons need to start doing
yeah.
this differently. You immediately want to be like, guys, precedent's actually pretty sweet.
Right. Yes. There's a standard. There's a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I don't know. But yeah, it's it's natural to be cynical of like a major conglomerate like Disney, you know? We're used to them. You know what I'll say? I was excited to hear them launching a lawsuit against another giant company opposed to a bunch of tiny artists,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
which is what you usually,
Usually
you
see
know,
it with them. Yeah.
usually see. They'll love to do that. And they're, I've read, cases and Malcolm Gladwell did like a 4-part podcast about it, about Disney's lawsuits. And like sometimes they do them in, like where you've been like, well, like a company that size, like, well, the reason they're doing this is because like they have to maintain the copyright.
Yeah.
And he's like, but in Disney's instance, on many occasions, they've taken actions that seem more than that, it seems spiteful. like at times where you're like, this is beyond the expectations for what they needed to do for maintaining copyright. And
Yeah.
this is to just hurt the artist. And you're like, that's, I don't know.
I've always taken their position as just like scorched earth, just so, you know,
Yeah.
to make examples out of people. And I
Yeah.
agree. It's you see these, you know, tiny, I don't mean
Yeah.
tiny, but you know, these artists who are just trying to make a living and maybe they drew a Mickey Mouse or something. And
Yeah.
it's like they're not trying to make their living off of Mickey Mouse, but
Yeah. Completely. But no, yeah. So it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. It's like seeing like Mothra fight Godzilla. You know what I mean?
Right.
Opposed to Godzilla destroying a city, right? This is
which is
this
kind
is
of awesome.
what was that?
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
When's the last time you saw Godzilla, by the way? Like the
Like
original.
the original?
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Oh, I watched that again. I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, and I this is going to sound really goofy, but I found it incredibly moving, like
Really?
incredibly moving because, you know, it's a reaction to you know Japan being
Uh-huh.
subjected to nuclear bombing.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just this metaphor for that. And I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like I was ashamed of myself. I'm like, dang, I'm getting all moved over, you know, the guy in the suit, guy in the Godzilla suit, coming out of the water and destroying the city. But you know, that's really kind of what happened, you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know very little about like the Godzilla universe.
Oh, I don't know anything about it other
Yeah.
than the original was basically
Yeah.
a statement about, you know,
What year was the original?
I think 56. I could be wrong. Right
Yeah.
around there. It was just
Really.
far enough away from World War II for them to, you know, be able to make stuff
It-
again, I think.
it's a pretty fantastic allegory. Is allegory the right word? I guess
Yeah, I believe it
allegorical
Sounds
is.
or just
sounds good
maybe.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Cassandra says yes, I'm in.
Analogy, maybe?
Yeah. Allergy's
Like
another
an
word.
An
allergy.
allergy because it's like an allergy. No, I
Pretty
said
good
an
allergy.
analogy. Um,
Parable.
I think
My
parable is just a
Sure, I'll go for
parable
that
is just a
too.
story.
It's an allegorical parable.
Yeah, there we go. Allegorical parable. That's a really great one.
Told metaphorically.
Um, I did rewatch the original King Kong.
Oh
On the
man,
topic
that is
of
so good.
Wow.
so well done.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson when when he made the really bad one with Jack Black and Adrian Brody, I think. Was it Brody in it? I
Yeah.
think it was.
Yep.
Yeah. Really bad one. It was terrible, right? But he made a documentary that they included on the DVD, like for the bad movie.
Oh,
It should have been done by itself. It should have just been alone by itself. But the documentary is about the making of the original
so
King
he
Kong.
went full Heart of Darkness.
Huh.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
he did a documentary on the original
Oh yeah,
Willis
yeah, no,
O'Brien
yeah.
movie.
Sorry. So
Yeah.
the documentary is about the making of the original, and he really broke down like how they built their scenes and like the like layering that they made in those like stop action like battle scenes. It's amazing. Like some of those scenes are like 15 tables like lined up in a row to create depth.
Wow, that's
Like
cool.
it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I recommend it. I don't recommend the movie
I
starring.
didn't. I liked most of the movie. I thought
Yeah.
like the the native scenes were wicked racist, but I kind of liked, you know,
In both the remake and the original, probably.
well, I'm sure the original,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is pretty.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen the Peter Jackson one since it came out. But the documentary is really good about the original. Just because you start to realize like they were doing the stop motion for King Kong, and it became really interesting because to do stop motion with like a furry object is
Yeah,
like a nightmare. And they talked,
possible.
yeah. And so they were talking about how like they controlled continuity with it and how it created this like really kind of interesting motion.
Huh.
But yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah, they figured out the hair um probably around by Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that's when they had upgraded the armature ball. I studied. So before wanted to become an illustrator, I was dead set on becoming an animator, and so like loved studying about the history of visual effects
Mhm.
on it. So just the ball and socket joint and uh, all that fun stuff. Actually, that's filming that I think is what killed Willis O'Brien. He was filming.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I forgot what he was filming, but he was in a basement. It must have been Godzilla. It was in the basement, and that basement had like asbestos.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Whoa.
I could be wrong about that, but that's what ended up getting him in the end.
Really? I had a run in with asbestos this week.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. I was doing some work. It's actually pretty funny. I removed
It
an
sounds like
exhaust.
it.
I had to go over to my
Not sound
attic
like
to remove an exhaust fan from my bathroom. And I live in the house that my grandmother lived in. And so this exhaust fan is like from like it says like I go up there and it says like Frigidaire on it, you know? And I am I'm like taking a hammer to this thing trying to remove it. And then when I removed it, I looked down in the bathroom and I was like, why is this the wrong bathroom? I
oh
removed the wrong
no.
exhaust fan. It was a nightmare.
Oh
Oh
no.
my God.
But then I was digging through all its insulation, which was some new insulation. But I was like, oh, it's kind of funny how the consistency of this insulation gets really small and granular
Oh my
and
God.
and different towards the base. And then I was like, oh, I was like, I'm gonna Google asbestos and see what that looks like. And I Googled it and I was like, wow,
It looks just like this.
that looks just like this. And then
Oh,
I called my father-in-law and he was like, oh, it's probably not. Your house was built during this. You really calmed me down. And then I was talking with my uncle and he was like, oh yeah, no, I was there when they put the insulation in that attic. We found bags of it. It just said asbestos on it.
Oh,
oh my God.
And I was like,
God.
thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. But yeah, so I'm 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 good. Gianna's out of town for a week, so we'll see. I'm doing check-ins. I made it out of the attic, so I think I'm okay.
Are you worried?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I know people that have worked around that their entire lives, and that's what it really takes. I think
Yeah.
it takes a prolonged exposure. Now, would I do it again? No,
Yeah.
but no, I'm not. I'm not worried. Um, it's pretty much in every house like built in like the 1950s.
Yep.
Yeah.
That and lead paint. They knew how
Yep.
to live. They knew how to live.
Yeah.
Asbestos, lead paint, no seatbelts, right?
And don't
Yep.
great.
Oh my God. Yeah. I drove a car the other day that doesn't have seatbelts. It is unnerving.
Oh,
It just feels like you are surfing
Yes.
down the
What kind of
road.
car doesn't have?
right.
What year car was this?
77.
Oh, see, there you go.
My
Yeah.
my dad is restoring a 1939 Plymouth,
Okay.
Oh,
and so it doesn't have like it doesn't have power steering, it doesn't have
Yeah.
seatbelts. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fascinating, and it's like literally like a couch that you sit on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I remember I was illustrating a book that had a 1904 Packard in it at some point. And the thing that was fascinating to me as I was drawing this thing is to realize that, like, these early cars were like they're almost like made out of other stuff that we knew, you know?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's funny.
oh, the seats. Well, those are library chairs.
Right,
And
right.
Yeah.
the horn is a big squeaky horn on the outside of it. And the gearbox is literally a wooden box
Yeah.
that, you know, has a big handle sticking out of it. And like the lights are actually removable lanterns.
Oh, wow.
Instead of a trunk, it's got like picnic baskets strapped to the fenders. The
Oh,
wheel is
that's
like a
awesome.
combination of a wagon wheel and a bicycle wheel. It was
What kind of car is this again?
That was a 1904 Packard.
Oh, okay,
So
okay. Yeah.
pre-Model
Wow.
T.
Yep.
Alice Roosevelt had one, the
Wow.
president's daughter, and she used to get like the first speeding tickets in Washington D.C. with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I
Wow.
heard
But
about her driving.
right, so I had this spread to do of Alice Roosevelt kind of in a like a police chase when
Tearing it
the only
up.
person in the city with a car.
That's fantastic.
My daily driver becomes an antique this year. I'm pretty
What is
excited
it?
about it. It is a 2000 Jeep Wrangler.
Wow.
Yeah, it
Wow.
is a it is a terrible daily driver. Yeah. The most annoying thing is when people in new Jeep Wranglers, like a 2025, like giant, what are the big old, the ridiculous looking trucks?
Right.
Yeah.
They will, you know, people will be like, oh, it's a Jeep thing. And they'll wave to each other.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
in Jeeps, they'll do like a peace sign.
Yeah.
Really?
Drives me nuts. Drives me up a wall. When somebody in their like $50,000 Jeep Wrangler like waves to me like we are similar people.
Yeah. No, we're not.
I'm like, I've replaced the transmission on this car twice. This is
That's fun.
You became a Jeep person 2 years ago.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. Mine was when they were still scary to drive.
Yeah.
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 I had a Jeep Wrangler, like 80, oh God, maybe a 78.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, in high school.
Somebody said yes, finally, the grumpy Timmy portion of the evening.
Right.
There we
So
go.
I have
Glad
a
I could bring
friend
it.
who had childhood stories of his friend's Wagoneer.
Okay.
What the stories revolved around was the fact that when you turned the car off and took the key out of the ignition, you never knew if it was actually going to stop running.
Okay.
So you could put the car in park, take the keys, take them out of the ignition, and the engine is still going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they would be like, well, now what do you do?
Right,
And
right.
so at one point they said, like, so we put it back in gear and just drove it around to see how long we could drive it without the key in the ignition.
My gosh.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
My car has what is known amongst the Jeep community, the Jeep people. It has what is called death wobble.
Well,
Have you ever
that
heard of
seems
this?
safe.
Yeah, it's like driving it is like driving a tuning fork in that there are certain speeds you just can't go,
Yep.
and people will be in it and you'll be like literally like if I get on the highway between like 50 and 60, it feels like it's gonna fall apart. Like
Oh,
like
right.
the car is all over the place. Like it is so bouncy. I would not get on the highway if I had a passenger because it'd be so bouncy. And then once you hit 65, it is just like a whistle. It's
Do
it
we
all
need to start like a GoFundMe to get you a car or,
I would love a GoFundMe to give me a new car. No, I've never driven new cars. I always just drive. I've always driven this was my uncle's car and he died when I was in high school and I've just always driven it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
How long have you had it?
Uh, since he passed away, so
Wow, wow.
two,
No kidding.
2004.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Is that the only car you've
2004.
ever had?
I had I had a truck at one point, but I am I am where cars go to die, Dale.
Oh, that's funny.
I drove that thing
Yeah,
into the ground.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It rested in pieces. Yeah. Um,
Huh.
yeah. On another note, I do want to remind people, this is Drawing Hive. If this is your first time joining us or drawing with us, this is brought to you by Visual Arts Passage. And Visual Arts Passage offers mentorships for illustration, fine arts, gallery painting, visual development. If you want to tell stories with your pictures, this is where you should start. A whole premise of our school is the career building, and it's all about portfolio and building a body of work. And we really believe the fastest way to do that is to connect art students with professionals that are doing this every day. They're out there in the field. And so that's why we run everything. It's just to make this kind of a stomping ground for people that are really good at what they do and for them to be able to pass that on to the next generation. So yeah, we are enrolling right now. Classes start July 12th. We've got some amazing classes coming up. I know we've got some workshops in the making right now too. But yeah, so if you're curious about any of this, I recommend going to visualartspassage.com. A lot of these classes are going to fill up. I guarantee the portfolio development course and career development course, that is going to max out. We are probably going to close enrollment for that one soon. So if you want in on that one, do not wait.
You've got somebody pretty good teaching that one.
Yeah, yeah. Sterling Hundley, Dale Stephanos, Audrey Benjaminson, John English.
Me, that's for sure.
Yeah, Dale. Dale, I'm excited about your workshop.
I am too. We just have
Yeah.
to figure out when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So
But
do you want to mention that at all, or do you want to just like?
I didn't want to step on your toes. I know we're still in the
I think maybe we shouldn't depend considering the look of this drawing. So
yeah.
This isn't a very good advertisement for
Yeah.
that particular workshop. So
Here, what's the opposite of spotlighting? No, I'm just kidding.
Visual mute.
Oh my God, you're way too hard on yourself.
I know, you're so
Kimmy, I
good.
got cut off. What happened? I was just going to talk about.
Boom. I don't know what happened to our connection with Dale, but no, come on. I'm just playing into the bit, but you're way too hard on yourself.
No.
Yeah, do the talk and show Cassandra's piece while he's talking.
Oh, that would be so funny. Somebody's like
brutal. That's very
No.
funny.
Oh,
Adam,
that's
that's
awesome,
awesome.
Adam.
Whoa.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Show Adam's piece.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I am going around the room. I'm doing a full circle. We're going around the room. That means you too, Dale.
Oh, really nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Are
Thanks.
you working on paper?
Yeah,
What?
this is ink and watercolor.
What did you finally run out of cardboard?
No, I just I wanted to play with something else today. So I pulled out my old walnut ink and an old watercolor tin I had and was just wanted to do something different.
That's nice.
Really nice.
Thanks. I feel rusty though. I forgot all the tricks.
Huh.
There's
Me
tricks.
both.
Yeah, I gotta look for is the Cassandra Kim book of tricks?
No, I feel like
need
I could have
that.
worked smarter and faster. Like of like holding on to lights better. So now I'm using my white ink to paint whites back in because I didn't hold them on to them as well as I thought I would.
Man, I wish I knew there were tricks.
I know. I would have. I've wasted decades now doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Y'all are ridiculous.
What-
Oh my
what the
gosh,
So
that's
if you-
hell are you-
epic.
What are you doing,
Oh,
Ray?
You're literally
Is this
creating a
robot
Dale-
making robot?
Dale, you almost sound like
Yeah.
a like an 80s bully where you're like, what are you even doing?
Well, I grew up in the
Book in your
70s.
hand, nerd.
Yeah, what do you yeah, dude, that's the equivalent of Dale like slapping the tablet out of your hand. like a pile of books you're carrying
Yeah.
down the hall.
Put that
Yeah.
down, man.
Not in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Not in here, man.
What are
That's
you
funny.
What are you using, Ray?
I'm using a blender
Oh, okay.
and really bad 3D skills to
What's-
pull this together.
You cannot say
nice is
that
that-
and it looked like that.
Yeah.
What's nice is that it's a really streamlined looking program and looks very easy to use.
Yeah. User friendly.
How many
It
buttons
kind of explains
are there?
itself.
Yeah.
More buttons.
Ray's
Yeah.
agreed to teach it to me over the weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it seems like
God.
a weekend project, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Casual.
So
Yeah.
John, you press the F key. Wait, no, wait. What screen are you in?
Oh my gosh.
Well, Blender
I don't
is one of
even-
the easier 3D programs, right?
Yes, it is, which
Yeah.
is hilarious. But yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is one of the easier.
I've used Maya. I mean, I've used Maya quite a bit, and that interface is much simpler looking than this. Did you just pull out like absolutely every single tool there is?
No, I mean, like you could clean it up. I mean, like let's clean it up here. There you
You
go.
don't have
See?
to. Actually, make the drawings much smaller, and let's get more tools in there.
Yeah.
I just want to see the tools.
This
Yeah,
is
we
like
got here, and
Wow.
and these
Like,
are
I
all
do
little
feel
their
like
own separate
if
tools.
we were on a plane and they're like,
Yeah.
pilot is out. We need somebody.
Ray.
Be like, I feel like Ray can handle this.
Yeah. Like if you
Right.
can
Yeah,
navigate
if-
this,
Same amount of buttons.
you could definitely fly
Yeah.
a commercial jet.
Yeah, it feels
Right.
that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
from the looks of
Ray,
it.
yeah, I agree. I
The
agree.
stu-
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
the
at least
flight.
with Blender and a 3D printer, you could make them a new pilot in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
The steward,
And then
the
print it.
steward would come up to me and Ray, and they'd be like, "Are either of you pilots?" And I'd be like, "No," and Ray would be like, "How many buttons are
Yeah.
there?"
Ray would be like, hold my airline beer.
Right.
How many buttons are there? I'm accustomed to 10 to
I
15,000.
can use Blender, so I think I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fairly familiar with subdivision surface modifiers. Is that similar to piloting this?
Funny.
I'm still going with Cassandra.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Me too.
I think you need to be. I think you need brazen. I think you need brazen ego. I want somebody who believes they can land the plane. Your ego has to be so absurd. That it's
Timmy,
the only
Yeah.
way it would go well.
Okay, I've changed.
Maybe-
I've changed my pick. I'm going with
Maybe
this.
I am the right
Yeah.
person.
I think Ray.
Timmy, we're all about brazen ego at the moment, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of out on that. So
I don't know. A lot of that Betty White action has gotten you're
Yeah,
going with
that's
Ray.
what I'm thinking.
I'm going with Dale on that.
I'm going with Dale.
Yeah, Dale, you're a
Alright.
lot more different.
So wait a minute.
Ever since the stamp.
I've done the Betty
post-stamp-
White
post-stamp
stamp. I
too.
could hear that.
So hold on, are we talking about to land a plane?
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, I did the Betty White stamp.
Right.
Yeah,
Like
Hold my
they've
hold my beer
mentioned
for
me on
this.
Colbert, so yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can totally.
I
This
got
guy-
this.
This guy, not only does he do well under pressure, he thrives. He
Right.
he was born in it.
That's right.
You have the cover of the Atlantic right now too, don't you?
I do.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
See what I'm saying?
If I was on the cover, I'd be like, that would have been, we would have known that within 2 minutes of me being online.
Well, I mean, if you were on the cover, that'd be
No, like
bad news for
if I had
Illustrated.
anything to do with it, if my friend had done it, I would have brought it up by now, Dale.
Well, I thought your friend did do it.
Yeah, I was just
and-
thinking.
Yeah.
Just brought it
Hello,
up.
guys. I'll see you.
Yeah. Sorry, Dale.
It was
You don't
somebody I
text
really
me-
admire did it.
You
Yeah,
don't
if-
text me my achievements, your achievements. Your achievements are my achievements because I'm usually art direct the stuff. But
If someone I respected and liked did it, I'd really put it out there.
This is the 5-minute warning before I tell you you got to start posting, everybody. I'm doing a warning this time.
No, you're always good about a warning.
Use your mom voice though.
I don't know what that would be like.
He does more dad voice.
Yeah.
Do a dad voice?
Yeah, you do dad voice. Like, you better show up for that portfolio review or else you'll go on the list.
I feel bad. Somebody apologized, and I'm like, don't worry about it.
I think
That
Timmy
was
would be
dad
like,
voice, though. That was dad
Yeah.
voice. You did
yeah,
good.
I think he'd be the disappointed dad,
Mm.
you know?
Really?
It's not that I'm mad, it's that I'm disappointed.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Coming in second's not that great. I could hear that. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you got
I
you
mean,
got
a B is fine, but A is better.
Yeah. You got second. You're really good at that.
You're really good at
Second a
that.
lot. That's
Oh,
good.
wow.
Dale and I come from the same background.
Yeah. Second again, you're really consistent. That's
I've been reprimanded for messing with my nephew too much because he's like 3, so he's I mean,
Three?
he's you know what? He just turned 4.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
fair game then.
So
Listen
Timmy,
here.
Timmy, Dale and I have been reprimanded for coming in second.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, second was not good when you
No,
guys were
no.
growing up. Second
What?
was losing.
What happened? Yeah, what happens when you come in second, John? You
It's like-
didn't win.
You work harder.
You lower everyone's expectations and put yourself
Yeah,
in a safe place.
Yeah.
First to
No, but I just I love to mess with him in a way that they're like, that is you're scaring him.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example, but
Good.
he's cued into it. It took him a while, but now he knows that I'm messing with him all the time and he like loves it.
Yeah.
But
Breaking him in.
yeah.
Well, 4 is amazing because 4 is where he'll suddenly be like sentient enough that you find out what he's been paying attention to this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Like there's suddenly you'll
Yeah.
discover that there's a worldview that has completely developed.
yeah.
True.
He had an incident with a lamp. He like got shocked by a lamp, right?
Oh
And
my God.
I thought this was a really fun parenting moment for my brother. So he got shocked by a lamp, and he's young enough that it doesn't explain. You know what I mean? Like that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Did you go back in? Like, try it again?
No.
Wow.
It was like a really like he wouldn't stop. He was fine.
Yeah.
Right. It was a mild shock, but just really scary and really like, okay, buddy, like you're gonna have to learn how to live with lamps. like lamps we can't really write those out of our world. They're pretty important. They're a big part of everything we do. And so I thought it was a really fun thing. My brother was like, would it make you feel better if we destroyed the lamp that hurt you?
Wow.
Yeah. And so he got him a hammer, and my nephew just got to beat the lamp.
Hope it wasn't
Wow.
a fancy lamp.
I thought you was gonna say if Timmy got shocked also.
I thought that too,
Yeah.
John.
No, I don't think we would do that. The one thing I taught him was my mother-in-law always cuts my hair. She's my barber, and for Christmas somebody got me like scissors, like a haircut kit for her. It was a pretty nice gift. And I was sitting there with him, and I'm always trying to entertain him. And I don't know why I did it. I just thought it was funny. I have kind of long hair, and I just grabbed a big piece of my hair and I just snipped it off and gave it to him, right? Like I was just like, look, I'm being silly. I cut some of my hair off. And then immediately I was like, I just taught my nephew how to cut hair off his head. And I immediately was like, hey buddy, don't ever do that. And I haven't told anybody, so I'm just waiting waiting for that ticking time bomb to
Well,
go off.
your secret is
yeah.
safe with us and the internet, Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, I know.
Oh my God, that's gonna happen in like no time.
It will 100% happen.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's kind of a rite of passage. My kid definitely
Yeah.
cut off a chunk front and center, like
yeah, but you
days
go,
before
but when
preschool.
you ask him, why did you do that?
Uncle Timmy
The
told
best answer is, I don't know.
That's
I
what
don't
you're gonna get.
know.
You're gonna get, I don't know.
No,
no, no.
no, he is
Uncle Timmy.
100% gonna say Uncle Tito taught me.
He's gonna throw you under the bus.
For sure. He blames me
Uncle-
all the time.
Yep. Uncle
He blames me for
Timotei.
everything. If I bump into him on accident, he'll tell my brother that I hit him. Like because he think that's his way of like messing with me. And I'm like, buddy, no.
I mean,
Not-
it's impressive that he's learning at this age how to like mess with you back.
Yeah.
He'll be like, Uncle Tito struck me. We're like, dude, it's not funny. It's not that you don't joke about that, Teddy. Everybody start posting your work. It's hashtag drawinghive254, hashtag drawinghive and have visual arts passage. We're gonna pull it up and look at it. It's gonna be fun. Dale, my mom said she got some of your stamps. That's pretty exciting. She
No
just texted
kidding.
me.
What? Where?
Yeah. She got them at a nail salon. They were selling them at a nail salon.
Oh wow,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh.
That black market Betty White is hot.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a typo. Mail place. I was like, why'd you get them at a nail place?
Yeah, I was like, wow.
I was like, that's wild, Dale. You got like a
I get-
underground. Yeah.
Almost every day I get somebody sends me a picture of
Yeah.
like a sheet that they finally scored.
Oh, nice. Somebody said they're going for like $1 plus on eBay.
Oh, we
Wow.
we were at an event a couple of weeks ago, an auction, and I did a talk there, so I had this like poster made up of the stamp, and I
Yeah.
brought a a signed sheet, and hold on.
We can't hear you, but it sounds like you're getting the sheet.
Yeah, just like a signed sheet like this.
Oh, cool.
Just sign it.
Oh,
And
Oh, wow.
they auctioned it off for like $4,500.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
that's
I
awesome.
couldn't
That's
believe
so
it.
cool.
I know. I
That's
know.
cool.
So
What
I'm
was-
taking
Was that for a charity?
taking offers. Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Anybody? Can we start at 5,000?
I've
Starting
got
at $5,000.
$35. $35?
35. I'm out.
Those are fun. Those are fun, especially when you see somebody just got caught up in the bidding and it's like, oh no, they're gonna have to actually cough it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that always makes me nervous, like in movies, auctions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've been that
Or
guy.
like James Bond movies, like, how are these criminals going to pay for this?
I know.
Yeah. No, an auction. That's cool. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
I mean,
The whole
That's-
thing's been really just
Is it surreal?
incredible. It really is. It really is.
Well,
I
we're
keep
proud of
saying,
you.
It's like
Yeah.
well, thank you. It's like having a hit song.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a one-hit wonder, I'm totally fine with that.
what a
I love
cool
seeing it. You
experience.
worked your butt off. It's
Yeah.
just absolutely exciting to see you get all of this positive attention, and it's a great piece. You did an amazing job.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Is that common that a stamp gets that much?
They hit every once in a while like this. I know
Yeah.
the Elvis stamp was huge. And you know how I remember that is because when I was an editorial cartoonist, I remember it was a really slow week. And that
Yeah.
was the big news that the Elvis stamp came out. That was Mark Stutzman. He used to do a lot of work for Mad.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And that was massive. Like that was huge. That was just like this, just like the Betty White thing. But I don't know if I remember something that's been this big
Because
as far as
the news is not slow, and
Right.
you're big
right,
news.
right. I also think, that's a really good point, Cassandra. I think it was just a little spot of just purely good news.
Just happy joy.
Yeah. So I think people liked that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And really, kind of being the person that delivered that, just a super positive thing out into the culture has been,
Mhm.
it's just been really incredible.
I hope you can. I mean, it's got to be overwhelming, but I hope you also are able to enjoy it while it's all going on.
My wife keeps reminding me to enjoy it.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, also, you know how rare it is for like you to get like catapulted into that like
Yeah.
spotlight and then
Yes.
it all be like, and for it to all be positive
I
is
know.
so unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uh,
Especially today. You know?
Mm-hmm.
like for there not to be like, I've talked about this. Yeah, every once in a while, something goes kind of viral and I'm like, I want to see what the mob has to say about this.
Right.
And it
Right.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how thoughtful. Great example is like Adrian Brody auctioning off.
Oh, I feel
A,
so bad for him, man.
yeah, it sucks because
Oh,
nobody, no art. In fact, art
I
news,
I
the
saw that
news,
today.
they posted the most rude, just like disrespectful article and completely
Mhm.
didn't mention at all that Adrian Brody did the painting for a charity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, shame on them. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. He did it for a charity. Like
some people just get so snobby.
yeah. And it
I
was
have
just like
rants.
the guy just did a painting for a charity and they're like, this is what's wrong with the art world. And you're like, are you sure?
Oh, I think there's other things. Like this was a charity and there was a banana that sold for how much?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like I don't think this is the punching bag you guys need it to be.
Nope.
Like
Right.
you
Yeah.
could say you don't like it, but it's like,
I don't
it,
know. Just there was such a vicious article or vicious reaction to that. I was like,
yeah.
wow, man, like, take it easy. Just an
Unnecessary.
actor, you know?
Yeah, he's just an actor, and the biggest thing, the thing that bugged me was there's so many news articles about it that just completely don't mention at all
That
that it
he's
was
a
for a
charity.
charity.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I feel like that's really important.
Mhm.
Like, you guys ready to see some
Yeah.
some art?
Always.
That's what I like about this hashtag.
Oh.
All the comments are always
Wow, those
like,
look awesome.
Oh,
the
this is
comments are
Wow.
always so like, this is great. This is awesome. There's never anything divisive. I love it.
Yeah, we should probably let Adrian Brody know he should join and this is a safe place.
Yeah,
AJ.
good
AJ, that's
idea.
Wow.
beautiful.
Oh, that's so
Wow.
cool.
Look
And
how
Adrian,
pretty that is. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
perfect.
man.
wait, I love the idea of having Adrian Brody and just be like, Adrian, your work, it's so good. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, let's invite him on Drawing Hive and he can have some positive time.
He
Yeah.
needs it.
That's
I know
amazing.
somebody that knows him.
Yeah, let's get him over here. Let's do some happy art.
Yeah, let's do it.
Peter, that looks amazing.
Oh, nice.
Dude,
Wow.
that's killer.
Nice.
Dang,
Whoa.
Robert.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
So
That's
good.
a big starting three there.
Oh, is that
Gosh, that's good.
Wow.
Really
Nice.
nice.
so
Nice.
cool?
That's so
Good
cool.
stuff. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Wow.
So what are we
Wow.
doing here?
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Jeez.
Why are we here,
Ooh,
Ray?
Eric.
Wow.
Dang, man.
This is daunting.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
So that's
It's
somebody
like
Love
fell
it on a
over.
post-it note
the,
always.
the Ethernet
Oh,
cables
that's
is a fun
great.
touch.
That's great.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that's cool.
Wow.
Nice little bot cut, little
Great
bowl
job,
bot cut.
Jason.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love
Oh.
how you did that.
Wow. Look
Yeah.
at that.
Cool.
That's killer.
Jeez.
Really nice.
Nice.
Oh, I love it when you bring the passion and just keep adding characters. Yes, keep doing that.
Is that part of like a much larger piece?
Yeah, they've been adding to
No.
it as they go, so you can
Oh,
see
Wow.
from like the Wes Anderson movie.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's fantastic. Keep going,
Yes.
please.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
it.
that's
I'm a
awesome.
huge Bosch fan.
Love
Gary,
it.
Wow, Gary.
so cool.
Good stuff,
Always.
Gary.
Gary.
Ooh,
Nice.
Marcy.
Oh,
Nice.
Really nice.
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, AJ.
I always love your color palette.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Jesus, Peter.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Really nice line work.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, I love how you handled that, Terry.
Nice, Terry.
It's great.
That's so cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, Terry.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Ooh,
Wow.
Beautifully done. Really nice.
Yeah.
Great angle. Oh, that's
Awesome.
cool.
Love it. Nice,
Wow,
Bella.
Bella.
That's
Great
great.
job. Really nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
good idea.
Paul.
That's
Ooh,
cool,
fun.
Paul. Oh, great
Nice.
job.
Good.
Oh, that's neat. That's
Fun.
really neat.
Nice. Cool. Cool, cool.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the
Balloopy? Balloopy?
Blue Loopy.
Balloopy?
Nice.
It's hard to
Nice.
say.
From yeah, not a murder bot, but still
Right. Right.
A
Drawing
lovely
Hive
endangered
subject.
otter.
If
I
you're
like
a
daughter.
If
Ooh,
oysters might go differently.
Randy.
Oh,
That's
nice, Randy.
Ooh,
gorgeous.
that's nice.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
That's
Wow.
great. Nice.
Randy,
Randy.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Jeff, that's
Oh,
cool.
that's cool, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's really
like that.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
murder bots.
Love how you handled that.
Bluey.
Nice,
Good
Virgie.
stuff.
Love
Oh,
seeing
right.
it.
Love Bluey. Yep, it's authentic. It's got a Bluey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the mark.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
that's great, Charlotta.
Ah, man,
It's really
Nice.
nice.
the bowl
Love
cut
that line work.
renaissance. I love it.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Ooh,
We're back,
Valerie.
baby.
That's
Mhm.
lovely.
That's really nice.
Great job. Beautiful. Great light on that.
Yeah.
That's cool, Jeff.
Wow.
Oh, Terry, that's
Nice, Terry.
awesome.
Oh, cool. That's great,
That's
Terry.
fun.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sport doodly. Lovely.
Right,
Oh, there you go.
doodly.
Great job.
Friend of the show.
Nice, Steve.
Great
Ah.
job.
That's nice.
Good,
Ooh,
good.
really nice, Paul. That's great. I love how
Nice.
the background you
Love
brought
that.
into.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Cool. Oodles and noodles. Welcome to the club.
Doodles
Wow.
and noodle doodles.
Oodles,
George?
noodles.
That's
Good
cool.
stuff.
Oh, lovely. I always love your
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Great, great
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
Great.
Nice.
Terry.
Nice, Terry. Wow.
Nice.
That's fun.
Terry's killing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Love it.
Nice
Epic.
stuff.
Wow.
Just blows me away
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love it.
Your sketchbook must be the
Alexander.
coolest.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice. Oh,
Some
that's
good
cool,
stuff.
Karen.
Love it.
Great job. Oh, that's lovely. Really love the shapes that you use for that.
Yosh.
Oh,
Great
nice.
job.
Oh, I love
cool.
that.
Oh, nice.
That's
Nicole.
really nice, Nicole.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Nice.
job.
Thanks for
Wow.
drawing.
12 years
Glad-
old.
Nice.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Better than
Happy
I
to
was
have
at
you
12.
here. And that's a really nice
Yeah.
drawing.
Uh-huh.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I couldn't draw like that when I was 12.
Ooh, that's cool.
Ooh, that's
Now it looks like a mural or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
cool.
lovely, Karen.
Wow.
wow.
Love it.
It is
Some
beautiful.
great
Ooh,
stuff.
that's so. I love the use of the greens there.
Yeah.
Beautiful contrast for shadow.
Oh my
Really
gosh.
nice.
Uh-huh.
Really, really nice.
Some
Great.
good stuff tonight.
Yeah.
Y'all are on it.
Nice.
Oh,
I
nice,
love
Terry.
fun.
You got a
That's
lot
of fun.
done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a great
good
place.
stuff.
Oh,
I
that's
know. Yeah.
fun.
Cool.
Good stuff.
That's so
Karen.
good. Great job, Karen.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fun.
great atmosphere.
Nice.
Composition.
Cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Good
Love it.
job. Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Oh,
That's a great one.
That was wild.
You can see the likeness.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wow.
fun.
yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
All
Great
right.
job. Paul,
What
you
a
got a
good
lot
one.
done.
Paul's a
Yeah.
good one to end on. Everybody, that was awesome. Thank you so much for drawing with us. If this is your first time joining us, draw with us next week. Same time, same place. Well, we had a lot of people here tonight. That was Dale. What a
Yeah.
good return. It's awesome to
Yes,
have you
nice
back.
to,
Welcome
Yay.
back.
nice to
Yeah.
hang again.
Thank
Adam,
you, everybody.
Ray, Cassandra, John, fun time. We will see you all next week. If you've got a good rec, send it our way. I know a couple people have sent them. Trust me, we're considering them all. So thank you.
Nice.
See you, everybody.
Take
Bye,
care.
Have a great
everyone.
Take care,
week.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night.